Hi, I'm Kyle Morris, Vice President of Business Development with NMR Events. With Disney Tech and Data, this is our third year doing it in person at this venue. Our goals every year are to help Disney stand out at the CES show and really give them a unique environment for them to bring their message forward to their clients. When people arrive, they know that they're at a Disney event. They understand that they're about to hear information about all the advancements Disney's making in the ad space with technology integration. So we really make sure that everything that we design from the very first steps that we take is lockstep with Disney's objectives on how they deliver their message. We really are deliberate on that when we look at the environment that we're creating, that it's cohesive to the art and the key art and all of the different technologies that will be introduced during that showcase, that we have a way of bringing that forward in a meaningful way. In the beginning stages, it's a lot of fun. We're working with the most creative company in the world. And I think, when you're in that process, you can't show up with having ideas that don't match that level of creativity. So we start off simple. We look at the space that we're coming into, and this particular space, we've been here multiple times. So we have to bring something new. So we start off simple with a sketch pad and a pencil. And we integrate some new technology that we've seen around the world and all the events we produce. And we start to simply integrate and pros and cons and what would work and what wouldn't. And in that, we start to really hone in on what we want to bring to life in this space. That's the early stages of this process. And then we start to get information from Disney on exactly what they're going to be saying at the event. And then that's the biggest part for us. Now, once we understand the objectives from the client side, from the partner side, now we can really start to focus the design, and then we start integrating even more based on that information. So in the planning phase, my role begins as executive producer, and I'm also the creative director. So it's kind of a dual responsibility where I am interfacing with our partner. I am then taking the information and handing that off to the team. I am logistically allowing for my team to go and do what they're so masterful at doing, which then frees me up for a big part of the pre-production to focus on the creative, which is really my favorite thing to do. It's really where I'm passionate. So those are the two major roles I carry. Then when I get on site, I kind of step back into my executive producer role. This event in particular is challenging because, this time of year that this happens, CES as a show happens right after the New Year. So you're going into the holiday season. You've got a lot happening on the partner side leading into it, right? So they're getting through a lot of things on their side. So it's really about the shortened timeline of when information comes in and when we can actually start to execute and get approvals and make it all come together. I think one of our strengths and where we really shine is that we're able to react very quickly and get things done in an incredibly quick timeline at a level of quality that's unexpected. And that's why our partnership has lasted so long with Disney, is because they've got so much going on all over the world. And when they need to then focus back in on the projects we're working with them on, we're there ready, waiting to work, and we get things turned around quickly at the level that they expect and at the quality they expect. And what's even better is when you're working with somebody like Disney who creates absolutely beautiful art, it just gets us really excited because we get to see these incredible canvases we create come to life. One of the great technologies we also used is glow motion. And we used this at the Upfront last year, and then we used a smaller version of it this year at Tech and Data, but in a totally different iteration, giving it all new life just to add a little bit of accent into the room. And it's just a subtle little touch that we designed into the room that really gives it this special feeling that makes it feel unique to how we design, execute, and also the way Disney events look. I've been working with Disney personally for well over 15 years now. And every time I do a project with this team, it's incredibly rewarding because the gratitude that's shown to not just me, but to my entire team that works through the nights, countless hours, it's never not noticed. You know, when you have people that you work with year over year that really truly appreciate you, that's the most rewarding thing out of anything. Not to mention that we put on these incredible, beautiful designs and shows. That's a whole other level of you know, feeling rewarded. But when the people behind it really show their level of appreciation to you, you feel good as a person, your team feels good as a team, and there's no words to properly describe that.